What's the next one on the page?
A lot of the information may be new.
And?
You may feel uncomfortable.
Yes, so we're back to uncomfortable. Especially those of you that know a lot about presenting. Because certainly the way that you do it is the best way. I mean, how could it be different? Yes. So allow yourself again. A lot of the information is new. Again, today you will... This style of training is called immersion training. That's why it's a 12-hour day and tomorrow is a long day. If I had my way next time, it'll be a 3-day course. Because so much information is going to go in, your brain at some point is going to go, okay, you know what, I just surrender, whatever. Just let the stuff just go in as opposed to trying to filter everything and try and work everything out. So know that that is also part of how this course was designed. There's going to be an incredible amount of information on that point. Those of you that want me to read through all the pages, going to be very disappointed. There are going to be pages in the manual we're not going to get to. Regard that as bonus material. Raise your hand if you can read. Whew. Okay, almost everybody. So get somebody that can read your manual to you. Yes? We're not going to cover everything. Do you think it's more important to facilitate what's happening here, to do the practice, to get the feedback, to have lively conversations about how do we apply this to Dorothy's situation as opposed to read through the manual? That's what we're going to do. It's going to be a lot of information. You're going to think you're not taking anything in anymore. The good news is you will, and you do. What's the next point on that page?
Benny, what's TTT, PNTY?
Turn to the person next to you and say, there's going to be a lot of new information. Turn to the person next to you and say, there's going to be a lot of new information. So it's an abbreviation for turn to the person next to you. Very sharp, Simon. It's okay, you can applaud later. What's the next one?
Let's give him a certificate.
Use every opportunity. Here's what I see sometimes. So you're 17 of you. It means there's going to be 3 groups of 4 and a group of 5. That means some of you are going to be finished before the others. Then people sit and wait. Why? Go again. And go again, and go again. Let me be the one that says, can you please stop now? We do need to move on. As opposed to talk about the weather. You can talk about the weather when you leave. You have a unique opportunity here to bounce off other people, to get their feedback, to learn from their so-called mistakes and from what they do well. Use it, use it, use it. I will be leaving here Monday morning first thing. Actually tomorrow night I'll be leaving. So why wouldn't you use me? If you think I have something to teach you, if you have specific questions, question me, come here, ask, get everything out of me that you can over the next couple of days. Why wouldn't you? But the same thing goes for the people in your groups. Ask them questions, go again, practice, practice, practice. Turn to the person next to you and say, I get it. What's next? Okay, so we covered that. You don't need my permission to go to the toilet. What do I ask you to do when you leave the room?
Thumbs up.
Let me know I'm okay, yes? Or, if you're not okay, let me know or let Belinda know, we can help you. What's next?
A little effort, you can apply the techniques to all presentations.
Yes, I already said that in the beginning. Sometimes this goes back to the, yeah, I know this, or, it doesn't apply to my situation bit. Sometimes with a bit of refining, the techniques in the manual can be applied for everything. One woman that went to the Cape Town one in May got a job interview based on what she applied. Somebody else did a corporate presentation, and out of the 25 or so people, 18 people came up to her and said, what happened? We have known you for a long time. That was the most amazing presentation you've ever done, and another company offered her a marketing position on the spot based on one presentation. She's not interested in marketing. But that's not the point. What they perceived was like, you're a great... She was like, you talking to me? Okay? So corporate presentations. Somebody else works for a non-profit organization and did a presentation. He was asking for funding for a social media project. The other people on the board are about 75 and up, and none of them know what social media even means. He used the skills here in the manual, and within a few minutes they approved the budget that he asked for and said, but shouldn't we give you more? So whatever you want to use this for, again, I said what I said in the beginning, for team meetings, for interviews, for dates, for bank loans, or for large audiences, you need to just think a little bit out the box, and if that's hard for you to do because this is all new, ask me. I'm very likely to be able to help you to tweak it. Oh, is that what you meant? Like corporate objections? No, we can't do this in the corporate world. Yes, you can. You just need to get through your own discomfort first, and you need to tweak it a little bit. If you do a corporate presentation and go, hello everybody, yoo-hoo, hello, I agree, it might not be the wisest thing to do. But there are different ways. You don't have to do this. You can just go, hello everybody. Yes? Even if you sit at a table, you can just open the hands. Most people in the room would not even notice it. Consciously, we're going to talk about that. But unconsciously, this is a welcoming gesture. So you can apply the tools in any environment that you want to. What's the next point? Turn to the person next to you and say, I get it again. What's next? Take notes. There are some notes lines in your manuals. Back to brain science. Make notes, underline, circle, arrows. Important, there's some colored pens and crayons which you'll get more familiar with in a minute. Use them. Why wouldn't you? The more you can engage with the material, the more ways it can go into your system, the easier it'll be for you to recall it and apply it in the moment. This is science. So again, decide if you want to get the most out of the next 2 days, and if so, if you haven't yet, start making notes. Turn to the person next to you and go, make notes. What's next?
Leave your neighbour in peace.
Leave your neighbour in peace. How many of you have gone to the movies and the person next to you is like, oh, the best bit's coming now. Oh, you must have... Like, yes, I'm not a violent person. And I almost never use the word but. But, like, can you please just leave me in peace? I'm watching the movie now or reading my book. So please leave your neighbour in peace. He or she may just be getting the bit that they came for. That means if you have any question, like, what did he just say? Sometimes I get very excited. I speak very fast, nobody can understand me. Instead of saying, what? So, Benny, can you say that again, but slower, please, this time? When are we taking a break? He said we would have breaks. Ask me, I'm the one that would then remember, oh yes, it's time for a break. What page number are we on? What did he just say? Please ask me. I can tell you now, you're not the only one with a question for a start. So leave your neighbor in peace. Distract me, this is what you pay me for, right? Turn to the person next to you and say, I promise I will leave you in peace. And then say to them, you'd better. What's the next one?
Arrive on time.
Arrive on time. Thank you again all for being on time this morning. This course will run to time. So that means two things if you're not here. Well, it means a number of things, but two things I can think of right now. It means that you will miss out. And it also means if I've given some setup instructions or taught something, when you get to your group, you wouldn't know what to do. So that's going to take away from your group. So again, if you need support, or if you need to go do something, let Belinda or I know. We'll work with you. You know, I know life goes on. If you need to take care of something, then that's good. If you really need, I don't know, another Twinkie, then let me know. Maybe we can do something with that. But be back on time as you were this morning. We will finish on time tonight. We will finish on time tomorrow. That's my promise to you. Courses run to time every single time, except when they don't, but that's rare. Turn to the person next to you and say, turn to somebody else for a change and say, I promise I'll be on time. Good. And what else is there? Take responsibility. How many of you are on Facebook? How many people do you see on Facebook complaining about stuff? I know not you, but other people, yes? About the politicians and the oil companies and the banks and the weather and, you know, blah, blah, blah. The thing that most people don't seem to understand that the more energy you contribute to the problem, the more you focus on the problem, the more energy you give to the problem, the more you keep the problem in place. So Abraham talks about we are so adamant about what's real. We tell it the way it is. The thing with telling it the way it is it puts the emphasis on what is and it gets harder to change it. So the same thing here. You can go to the break and complain that the room is so cold you can't breathe. Or you can say, I'm really cold. Can you warm it up a little bit? Get into the mindset of asking for what you want. You may not always get it, but there's a much better chance, do you not think, if you were to start asking for what you want as opposed to criticizing what you don't want? It's not always easy. But try it for size. That's how the whole feedback thing that I'm going to teach you later is modeled. It's modeled on pointing on the desired outcome rather than complaining about the non-desired outcome. Why? Because the best way to change something is to start becoming solution focused. Does not mean you live in denial and la-la land, but it means you can acknowledge what is and start working towards what you want. So whatever you need, ask for it. There's a very good chance that I will be able to help you to get it. If it's my credit card details, not happening, but pretty much anything else within reason, I'll do what I can to help you.
Temperature up a couple of degrees.
There we go. I'm going to turn the aircon off for a while. let's talk about that quickly. I said I'll share with you stuff behind the scenes. Why do you think I put it cold? Other than I was sweating. Why do you think I put it cold? Hey?
Feedback.
How do you mean?
To see what how the room would react.
Oh, okay, so that could have been to see when somebody asked for it. In my case, that wasn't the case this morning. Yes, when it's very warm, people cannot, So the purpose of a colder training room is that people are more likely to be a little bit uncomfortable. But here's the thing, if it pushes over the edge, if they become really uncomfortable, they disconnect from the material. Like when I get really cold, I'm like, okay, thanks, but I'm done now. When do I get out of this place? So there's that balance. What else is on the page? Drink water. I did ask you all to bring water bottles. I see most of you have, or maybe all of you have. We have a limited number of glasses in the kitchen, so please keep drinking water. You are going to process not just an enormous amount of information, but you're also going to do a lot of assimilation. Assimilation means taking the information that's in the manual, the stuff that's going to come out of this mouth and appear miraculously in my works of art here, and start assimilating it, which means make it part of you, so that it just becomes who you are. That takes a lot of energy and a lot of water. Also, most headaches are caused by dehydration. So next time you have a headache, drink a glass of water, the headache will probably disappear. And we just know it's kind of healthy. There's a water dispenser right opposite the kitchen in the foyer. Anything else in there? Turn to the person next to you and say, that's enough. And then take a nice deep breath in, out with a sound. Stretch your arms over the head if you want. If you want to stretch them to the side, mind your neighbor, leave them in peace. Why would I do this? Yeah, right, it's just physiology. You're going to be sitting for a long time today, so I want your bodies to be up and about, optimally functioning so that you can take in the information easier. Any questions, comments? Right.